Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle. We are live answering your questions. They call me the honey badger because I give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business as well as other things. If you're wondering why I'm not on at 7 p.m. like I normally am, it's because I had to do something a little earlier because I have to go to a client's campsite and try to help them with their power. Their power went out. So just want to kind of give everybody a heads up. That's why I'm doing it early, because I think it's important you guys get some of these questions answered. Now, as always, if you want to support the channel financially, in the description box of this live stream, there is a GoFundMe page and a merchandise store where you can get merchandise from HBRV Lifestyle Live. So again, I apologize for a lot of you that are waiting till 7 p.m., but at least you get to watch it, right? All right, here we go. So, first question of the day was given to me earlier this week, and it goes like this. Camping World is advertising an auction, but I have found that you have to reach a minimum amount to you have to reach the auction minimum to actually buy the unit. And when I compare to the pricing of the minimum compared to what's on the dealer lot, it's almost identical pricing. Can you explain this and help me out with understanding why create an auction? Well, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not familiar with that. What I will say, and what my understanding from other folks is number one, a lot of the inventory they're auctioning off is in yards. That's what my understanding of it was. So let's say Jayco or Forest River or Keystone have travel trailers or fifth wheels in their yard at the factory, you're actually bidding on the stuff that's in the yard, and it has to reach a minimum of what we'll call it factory direct, what will make Camping World a little bit of money and what will be reasonable for the manufacturer to take. So realistically, it's not factory direct pricing. There is no such thing. Factory direct is a marketing tool. Saying you're a RV wholesaler in the title of your name is a marketing and an SEO keyword tool. We'll call it a tool because most people call it manipulation. I'll call it a tool because that's what it really is. It's a tool used to attract people, to mentally stimulate them to think they're getting a good deal. Okay? Every American and worldwide company, not just the RV industry, but across the entire world of business, this is a practice that is done to make people feel good about spending their money. Like, for example, a retail price on anything from bread all the way up to a Lamborghini, all the way up to a luxury yacht, is a starting point. And then it allows for the word discount. The word auction makes people feel like they're getting a better deal. So and again, I have not had enough experience with it, nor do I understand the program because I don't work for Camping World. But from what my understanding is, listening in and reading about it, it's really you bidding on stuff that's in the yard that the factory has been unable to sell, and Camping World has worked that out. So the reality is, though, if that's the case, if that's 100% on point the truth, it means it's 2022s, 21s, 23s that have not sold to dealers because dealers are like piss on a rope. We're not taking anything until we cut down our inventory. Okay. And to me, if that's also 100% the truth, somebody high five Marcus Lemonis. I mean, that's one heck of a way to basically not have to have the inventory in stock and still have an opportunity to sell it. You don't have to spend the money till it's bought. And that's something that's kind of cool. The other understanding I had about the whole auction program was also aged used inventory. And pretty much, if I remember correctly, the executive management at the corporate level kind of drew a line in the sand of this is the minimum amount of money we're going to take for a unit that we bought 2 years ago used. This is how much we're willing to lose, and we're not going below that. So when you bid $1 on a travel trailer and think that you're just going to get this great deal at $1, it's not going to happen, okay? There's a reserve number even when you go to the auction. That's why, and the last thing I'll say about it is like the auctions for cars right now, they're not selling. Even though there's some bids, it's not selling at the reserve price that banks and dealers want to get yet. I have a feeling there's going to be a big used inventory crash, and no one's going to be able to take advantage of it. I think there's going to be a total out, is what I'm thinking is going to happen. And what that means is when you go look and talk to people at the auction, which I've talked to some people at Odessa and Mannheim and a few other places that deal with used cars, mainly used trucks, some RVs, things of that nature. One of the main problems is that dealerships are just being a lot smarter about what they're going to buy used wise. So talking about the auction, it's not that everyone's scared to buy anything. It's people are smarter about buying something, okay? Right now, people in general are being, okay, and this is because of interest rates, okay? 90% of people are payment buyers. You can tell me all the time that, oh, I care about only the bottom line price. No, everybody is a payment buyer. Most people, I should say, not everybody. Most people are payment buyers. With that being said, interest rates are high. It sets the budget lower. So if you're looking for a $500 a month car, $500 a month does not buy you a lot of car anymore. You want a nice car, you're spending closer to $1,000 a month. So people are looking for used in that price point where they can get an under $500 a month payment. Dealers understand that, and they've done the math. Okay, this car is selling really well at this price point because of this payment. And dealerships are businesses. They have to make money. If a business does not make money, it goes out of business. We're going to see a motorhome manufacturer possibly go out of business here in the next 90 days, okay? I'm not going to name the name of it because if they don't go out of business, I'm going to get up the butt. So I'm just going to say there is a motorhome brand / manufacturer that is 90 days away from closing their doors because they can't make money, right? There are dealerships, boat, car, RV dealerships that are within shutdown. They are going to shut down and close. There are several of them. There are hundreds of them because, again, they can't make money. You have to make a profit to pay the bills. If you can't make a profit, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your employees, you close the doors. It's something nobody wants to hear. No consumer wants to hear that someone's making money on them. Nobody. And I understand that. Okay, who wants to be a sucker and let the dealer or the business make money, right? So that's the reality of it. Most people don't understand how much money it really takes to run a dealership. Okay, the one I work for takes $70,000 a month, 70 grand a month just to open the doors, turn on the lights, and have a couple of employees. I don't dance. So in the end of the day, the auction, people are just being smarter because the consumers are looking for a certain payment and price point, right? Okay, next one. You said in a live stream that Grand Design RV may be in trouble because of the way they've been treating customers with their warranty decisions that they've made by extending the frame warranty to 5 years retroactive to 2020 units. Why do you think they won't do 2018 or 19 units? Because we don't have the numbers. We don't have the official data. All I can go by is what people have emailed me when I had the podcast on. So when I had the podcast on, I had almost 1,800 people email me in the first 4 months, giving me their frame failure, frame flex story. And it was super predominantly, allegedly Grand Design RV products, okay? So if Grand Design is having the problem at the scale that they're having it at, then I would assume that they have some data to look at saying, where are we having the problem? Did the problem happen during COVID? And that's probably what it's telling us. So even though I've had several people tell me about 2018s and 2019s, predominantly it seems like it's stuff that was built in 2020 until 2024 recently. So it seems like there's this 3.5 year gap area where you have a lot of the issues. So that's probably why they drew the line in the sand at 2020. And I think the other reason why too, and this is important, is year model 2025 is coming out in the next week or two. If not, some of the dealers out there probably already have them. So I think that's the other reason why they cut it down to 2020 or newer. Again, I don't have their data. Nobody will ever get their data. They'll keep it privatized, and they'll probably have every employee sign a non-disclosure agreement that knows the data just to keep them quiet. And that's kind of normal practice amongst corporations. That's nothing new. Like you almost sign like a non-compete clause, or no, you can't share information clause of how things are done whenever you work for a major Fortune 500, Fortune 100 company and at a management level, okay? So I was asked that the other day. I had some reporter call me, and just basic information, like wanted to learn about the RV industry, and nobody would really talk to her. And, we had a great conversation over the phone. I was told her, like, non-disclosure agreements are normal in a lot of things. People make it not. They say that it's not normal. It is normal. It's very normal to sign a non-disclosure agreement, especially in a buyout situation. For example, most of your lawsuits, civil lawsuits, you sign a non-disclosure agreement if you settle out of court. I have been a part of one a long, long time ago with a company that went out of business, okay? And when I went in to go get my little tiny check, I never went to court, but went in to go to get my little tiny check, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement saying I would never disclose how much money I had or I received, and any of the managers' names or addresses. I couldn't do this. It was basic stuff, man. It wasn't like rigorous and punch you in the mouth. It was just this little stuff that is mostly protection for the people working on the actual settlement, okay? Here's a great example. And this is something, I was telling something the other day because somebody was asking me about NDAs and buyouts and all that stuff, because all this frame failure and frame flex stuff, predominantly allegedly with Grand Design RV. If Grand Design RV has you sign a non-disclosure agreement, it's normal. What may be in the non-disclosure agreement may not be normal. But to sign one that, like, I'll give you an example. Here's one that I read, 2 years ago. Okay, it was a buyout on a travel trailer. I can't remember who the company was off the top of my head. I think it was Keystone or Jayco. And I read through it because the customer was a good friend of mine and wanted my opinion about what he was doing. But one of the main lines in there was that you couldn't disclose the employees' names that were working on the buyout. You couldn't disclose the attorney's name. You couldn't disclose phone numbers. You couldn't disclose addresses of where you met them. You couldn't disclose their license plate number of their car that they were driving. I mean, these were like protection clauses. So if you decide you want to do some kind of revenge thing and give out somebody's license plate number or phone number or address, you're going to get in deep crap. Because let's be real, the person that's sitting behind a desk, that's typing up something or talking to you over the phone, they're there for a paycheck to help feed their family, give them shelter, okay? I know people don't like people at the top. It's like this country was built on capitalism and making something yourself. Nowadays, people hate the ultra rich, just hate them, okay, with a passion and a vengeance. But the people below them that are just trying to make a paycheck and feed their families, they should be protected, okay? So I feel like those things are sort of really normal, okay? So hopefully that helped kind of I know I kind of went in like 50 different directions, but hopefully that helped you out a little bit. Sorry, my allergies are killing me today. Okay, next question. My husband and I had just gotten out of a bankruptcy 2 years ago. We watched your videos we watched your video 2 years ago, and actually within the first month we went and bought a cheap used car at 30% interest. We paid that sucker so quick it wasn't even funny. We also opened up a couple of credit cards as soon as we were able and allowed to, and then we bought a truck that we took a loan out on that we've paid on for now 16 months. The maximum loan so far we have after the bankruptcy is $18,000 on the truck. We're trying to buy a travel trailer that's around $35,000 and we're putting $6,000 down. Do you believe we have a shot at that loan? Because it seems like to me, most of the dealers don't even want to work with it because they said that the dollar amount's too high. What do you think we're better off buying something cheaper, or do you think we're better off attempting to get the new one? Okay, so this is where you gotta like the dealer you work with. What I would do if I were in your shoes is you've rebuilt your credit, you've reestablished your credit, you're 2 years out, you've reestablished a couple car loans, you've made payments on time, you've got a couple credit cards, you got a steady job, I'm assuming, you have a W-2 paycheck stub, all the stars line up. What I would do is I would pick the dealership that you want to work with, okay? Here's what I would do. If I were your salesperson, I would tell you, let's go for the one you want and let's pick 2 backup plans. That's what I would do, okay? I would pick, like I work for a company that has 7 stores, okay? So the reality is I could literally go look and say, okay, we'll try for this one, but we have backup 1 and backup 2. That way you work with one dealership having your credit run one time. So let's say after tax, it's like a $30,000 or $32,000 loan you're getting. The max you borrowed before is 18 grand. Sometimes if your income lines up, either one of the 3 M banks, Merrick, Medallion, or Marine One, will pick up that loan at 30 grand, okay? If they don't, they normally, when they see something, will send notes to the dealership, to the finance manager saying, yeah, we're gonna turn them down for that unit, but if you can find a unit at this amount financed, we'll do that. And that's kind of how it will go. I would say take the shot as long as you have a backup plan on that same lot. That way you don't have somebody constantly burning your credit every time that you go for a unit. So let's say mom and pop down the street have the right unit you're looking for at the 35 grand, but they have 2 backup plans you like. Go for the gusto if you can afford the payment, if the payment works out. And then, you know, if everything doesn't work out, go to the backup plans. Okay. Okay. Next one. Okay. Can you expand on the 20-day comment that you made about the Grand Design warranty? I read through it and I actually got the same gist you did about the 20 days, but can you expand on it? I mean, the best way to expand on it is that, okay, so when you're getting your car, this is gonna sound weird. When you get in your car, you're supposed to check the oil. You're supposed to check your coolant level. You're supposed to check your tire pressure. If you actually read the manual of Ford, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, everything, there are systems checks you're supposed to do before you start the ignition of your car. Period, end of report. That's what you're supposed to do. What do most of us do? Walk in, sit down, put the key in the ignition, and start it. I'm guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of it at some point, right? Especially when we're in a hurry. If you're going to take a trip, okay, and you find that the measurement, and you're supposed to measure the pin box. If it does not fit within the specs of what Grand Design or whatever fifth wheel company, even if it's Montana, even whoever it is, if it's not within spec of the measurement, don't go on your trip. Make an appointment with your dealership, your local Grand Design Service Center, and get it checked within 20 days of you finding out that the measurement's wrong. Just like you would do if you found out there isn't enough oil, or there's oil in the coolant, or somehow you smell something funky when you check the oil and the coolant in your motor. You're not gonna go drive a 600-mile trip when you think there's something wrong. You're gonna go down and have it checked out by a mechanic or by a dealership. Same concept with a Grand Design fifth wheel. Same thing with a Grand Design travel trailer. If you feel like there's something wrong with the frame, don't wait on it. Go get it checked out within 20 days. If the dealership can't get you in within 20 days, call Grand Design and say, hey, I'm about to go on this trip and I found out the measurements are wrong. The frame flex, I believe I have frame flex. Get it documented and notated so there's not a reason for them to void your warranty. That's period in a report. If you don't do that, you're taking the risk of having the warranty voided. So I'm not telling you, you gotta go check it every 20 days. What I'm saying, and what I said in that video, maybe I'll make it more clear, is when you're about to take a trip, go check it 20 days prior, 30 days prior. Find a way to do the maintenance. And that's what I've been trying to say for a while, is we can prevent this as an RV community just by doing the small little things. Just like we would have to do with our car. Oil changes, tire rotations, brake inspections, normal stuff, okay? So we have to treat it as normal, even if we may not agree with it. Even if Grand Design has been the biggest customer service blunder in the universe in the history of the RV industry, if that's how you feel about it, no matter how you feel about it in that respect, do the basics and you shouldn't have an issue. If you ignore it and just hook up and go, you're asking for problems when it comes to getting it covered under warranty. Okay, so that's what you really need to like focus on. Okay. Wingman Nation has been putting out a lot of videos that seem repetitious and saying that the manufacturers are going to crash, basically. And what I get from it is that dealerships, including Camping World, are going under and down. I don't understand how they think that. Can you elaborate? Do you follow him? No, I don't. I don't listen to Wingman Wisdom or Wingman Nation or whatever he calls himself. I stopped listening to him a long time ago because of the guests he has on the show. Now, again, I have a problem with Liz Amazing. Doesn't mean I wouldn't have a beer with her. It doesn't mean I wouldn't go have a beer with Wingman Wisdom and have a chat. I actually wouldn't bother me. I could see having a couple beers with him if he'd drink beer, okay? By a campfire with a fishing pole in my hand. I could see that with him. I can't stand the show. And the reason why is because there is a lot of that stuff. Now you have to understand, okay? He's not out here he's not out to just give out information. It's his income, okay? It's his show. Shows generate money. Television generates money. Radios generate money. My channel generates money. My show generates money. That's a fact of life. And right now, in defense of Wingman Wisdom, because this is about the 18th email I got wondering if this Camping World's going out of business. They're not going out of business. Camping World is too big to fail. If Camping World failed tomorrow, the entire RV industry would be turned completely upside down and it would be a nightmare. It would be Armageddon if Camping World goes out of business. If you think things are bad right now, they will be 100 times worse if Camping World, which is, I can't remember the name, Freedom Trails or whatever it is, LLC, it would just put everything in a tailspin. So